So today I'm going to share with you 10 successful steps that I've never shared before with finding a deal. Just last week that I posted a poll on LinkedIn and a few other sites asking what you wanted to learn more in real estate. And the number one thing you guys want to learn is how to find a deal. So I have 10 actual steps that I've personally used to grow my portfolio to over 4,000 units, and I still use them today. So let's start with step number 1. So tell everybody what you're looking for. Everybody, and stick to your criteria. I know that's hard because as you get further and further into real estate, you want to jump to other areas of real estate. But if you really want to grow your wealth, if you want to be consistent in finding deals, especially off market, you want to stick to a certain set of criteria because you're going to be telling people over and over and over what that looks like. If you tell everybody, right, you have more opportunities that somebody is going to see something, they're gonna see a deal in their family, friends, a broker, like I'm talking anybody. I mean, last year alone, I had a police officer bring me a deal, I had a pest exterminator bring me a deal. I'm looking for value add apartments that are over 50 units within a certain amount of geographic territory. And I know within that exactly what I'm looking for. But since I'm looking for value add apartments, I want to make sure anybody that might have something that is mismanaged in a good location knows what I'm looking for. That's why I tell anybody that does anything to do with pest, right? Because it might be a great apartment building in an awesome location full of cockroaches. That is something I would buy. There's a problem and an equal opportunity to be able to solve that, right? I want to tell police officers because there could be crime. I buy a lot of properties that are mismanaged, that have drug dealers that are inside of it, right? Or people that are not following the law. The landlord might be tired and sick of that property. So making sure that even the police within the local city know what I'm looking for. But the point is, you have to keep talking about it to everybody and anybody, especially when you're starting out. More people that know what you're specifically looking for, right? The better opportunities that you have to capitalize on your next deal. Step number 2, you need to develop a track record of closing the deal, being easy to work with, and negotiating transparently. I think people forget this in the real estate world, that it is all about the relationship, and you will start off very, very bad in this market building relationships with brokers or people that find you the deal if you can't actually close. You know, I own over 4,000 units and I've closed every single deal. I have a 100% track record. So when I am negotiating a deal, or when somebody finds a deal and they know that I'm batting 100%, and Bob over here is batting 75%, right? He hasn't closed out his deals. Who do you think they're gonna give the deal to first? I mean, a real estate agent only makes money when the deal closes. So as you start to look for opportunities in buying real estate and finding that deal, you need to make sure you're ready. That might mean partnering with the lender ahead of time. That might mean making sure that you have the funds available, making sure that you are ready to pull the trigger, right? Because there's risk involved. And you don't want to be going back and forth whether you want to actually move and acquire your next deal if you're not ready. And you certainly don't want to waste anybody's time. I'm very easy to work with, right? So I try to make sure that there's not a significant amount of due diligence that I need to get from a seller. Like, what am I confident with? And I'm not gonna go back and do an inspection, 45 different times. I'm trying to be the easiest person to work with from the amount of information that I'm giving, the amount of times I'm actually on the property, and the amount of not just information, but the time I'm asking from the seller. From a negotiating standpoint, right? This might surprise you, but if you really want to be able to get these deals over and over and again, you don't want to be over negotiating either, right? Part of being easy to work with and also being transparent. So if you run your numbers and the numbers work, then just do the deal at that number. You don't need to go back and forth, going a little bit lower because you think they're going to counter your back. I'm pretty much like, if this is what price works for you, I'm going to try to make it work. But if it doesn't, here's the price that works for me, and that's it. You either take it or leave it. And that way you can feel good about moving through this process transparently too. I never retrade, right? Being transparent through the process is so critical to not only finding that first deal, but every deal afterwards. Step number 3, make sure you pay a lot for that deal. You know, this is so funny in this space that I see all the time when an investor has a deal under contract, and maybe they even have a real estate agent. In part of the negotiation, they're always trying to renegotiate the finder's fee, or they're trying to renegotiate the commission. If the deal is a really great deal, you want to make sure that you're paying as much money as possible, or at the very least as much as you said that you would pay, right? So for me, I'm paying a lot of money in step number 3 to anybody that brings me the deal. That is not something I'll ever renegotiate. If I can run the numbers and I see exactly what that deal is worth, that is how much I'm going to be able to pay. If the deal doesn't work with the commission that I agreed to, then the deal doesn't work, right? And I think the power of doing that over and over again is that people want to bring you the deal first. They find a deal off market, they know that they're gonna get paid, and they know that you're not gonna nickel and dime them. I mean, I've had people bring me deals where in one finder's fee made more than they made all year in their W-2 job. It's a really big deal, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars have been paid out on even single deals. And as small as, $10,000 or $20,000 have been paid out. It just depends. For me, I'm not a straight commission guy or a straight percentage guy. I'm a straight did you find a home run deal? Well, then you deserve to be paid a home run type of finder's fee. Did you find an average deal or a below average deal? Well, we talk about that all right away. Just be really transparent about those and try to pay more than the next guy, because the ability to be able to find these deals off market or find great deals, the amount that you pay for the finder's fee or the commission is small apples compared to the grand scheme of things, especially if you're trying to create wealth. Step number 4, develop relationships with the people that bring you the deals and the sellers themselves. This is a relationship business, right? And most of the time, if you want to grow in this business, you're going to do more than just one deal. So in the beginning, I didn't have any relationships. I didn't even know anybody in real estate. So then I had to do a lot more coffee, a lot more lunch, a lot more getting to know the people that are surrounded by the deals, the best brokers, the best real estate agents. And I also just had to meet with a lot of people in the industry themselves. But I know that if they bring me one deal, I'm going to follow through on with my track record. I'm going to close that deal. I'm going to earn their business so that I can do it again and again. And I think same with sellers. A seller that owns more than one deal in my career of over a decade has never sold me just one deal. If they ever sold another property, they also sold that other property to me. And there's a reason for that, because I've built the relationship, I've earned their trust, and I've followed through on the things that I said I was going to do. So don't think of this as just a transaction that's taken place. Think of this as an opportunity to build a relationship with that person that either found you the deal or the seller that's actually selling you the deal, because you never know if that seller is going to sell another, or if they know somebody else in real estate that's going to sell another. And that ability to build the relationship is going to pay dividends in the future. Step number 5, underwrite quickly. Just crazy to me at this point how long it takes people to get back to brokers or agents or sellers. They'll give you a rent roll, or they'll give you some sort of pro forma or idea on how their property's, running. And it takes some people 2 to 3 weeks before they get back to them. I mean, at most, it's taking me 2 to 3 days. And a lot of times I can get back to the person within 24 to 48 hours. You want to be able to know what you're doing and be able to underwrite quickly. I mean, even with limited information, if you're in this industry, it is a huge advantage if you can come up with your own numbers and not rely so much on the sellers. If the seller gives you something as simple as a rent roll, just think about it. You can pull your own property taxes, you can get a quote on what insurance is, you should have an estimate on maintenance and repairs, you should know what you're going to end up paying in utilities by what the landlord's paying versus the tenant, and you should know if there's trash, grass, and snow. There's not a lot else out there. So by having those percentages, you should be able to pretty accurately predict, what the financials will be. And I think your ability to be able to know that and underwrite quickly and get back to the sellers in finding deals off market is a huge advantage. Step number 6, you need to be calling people every single day. In the beginning, I called 10 people a day. I was trying to meet with 3 to 4 people a day. In this business, you gotta be able to pick up the phone, you gotta be able to have those conversations, and you have to be comfortable cold calling. You know, today I have a team that does that for me, and we're constantly calling and constantly keeping these relationships warm. But honestly, you have to be calling 10 plus people a day on properties that you want to be able to buy. Those properties are going to strike. This still works today. I mean, something as old-fashioned as cold calling, a lot of people say, well, this doesn't work. Well, you're just not making enough calls, or your call quality isn't as great. Just be genuine, be transparent. Like, go find that property that you want and keep putting in the work, keep putting in the calls. Step number 7. One of my favorite ways to find a new deal is actually driving around in the geographical area I want to buy the deal. So I think of this as like in springtime right now in Wisconsin. As it gets closer and closer to summer, there's going to be some apartment buildings that I know will not cut the grass. Like grass and landscape, it would just be horrible. That might be a really good, sign for me of a value add property, of something that's mismanaged or a tired owner or a mom and pop operation. So driving around and being aware of your surroundings in the area that you want to buy, you just want to go by and feel out that area, feel out that location. What do you know about that location that the next investor wouldn't? Step number 8, I know this is a tough one, but be patient and be persistent. Some of my best deals have taken 6 to 12. One of them even has taken 18 months. 18 months of building a relationship with somebody. I've went stretches of 6, 7 months and not buying a deal. I think a lot of people get discouraged when they're doing the cold calls and when they're building the relationship, and especially when they haven't bought a deal. But you gotta stick to your criteria. So be patient, but continue to be persistent. Don't be discouraged and then stop calling. Don't be discouraged and stop building relationships. You wanna stay persistent because all of a sudden, 18 months will go by and you'll have 3 deals or more deals than you can even handle. But what I've learned in this industry, nothing just comes month after month after month, right? It doesn't work that way. You might get 3 deals at the same time and you might get none for half a year. The important part is focusing on each one of these steps or each one of your own unique steps in finding the deals and putting in the reps. And step number 9. Now I touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's not just about building the relationship with the broker or the agent or the guy that found the deal. But you also got to build the relationship with the seller. This isn't just about following through on everything you said. Be interested in how they're running their property, right? Learn from them, because however they're running their business will help you understand the great things to continue to do and then the tweaks that you may want to do in the future. It'll also lead to more deals. I do not know very many real estate investors that I have bought properties with that didn't either own more real estate properties themselves or at least know 1 to 2 other real estate investors. If you build that relationship with them, you are also building the relationship with their network. And over time, that's going to lead to opportunities. That's a big key one for me and my progression. I bought a lot of deals from the same people and the same group. Once I do a really good job, I know that's going to lead to more opportunities. So think of the relationship over the transaction. Step number 10, follow up and follow through. I can't tell you the amount of times I thought a deal was dead, but I continued to follow up, and follow through. And then all of a sudden that deal is not dead again, right? That deal is up for the opportunity for me to be able to buy. So by continuing to be able to follow up and being persistent with the follow up to the point where maybe the deal is back on, then you're ready to be able to follow through. Do what you say you're gonna do, follow up over and over and over again, guys, and then that is one of the easiest ways to be able to find deals. I get a lot of deals from people that have actually touched base with this specific seller once or maybe twice, but then 6 months go by and they completely forget about it. And my ability to stay connected to them and following up over and over again has helped me buy countless amount of deals. Hopefully these top 10 steps are things you can implement into your daily, weekly, monthly routines to find your next deal. If you like this, I have another video on the top 5 things that I've done to be able to find my first deal. You can check that out on my YouTube channel as well. And thanks for watching.